welcome to another Terrain Direct video. This one is currently video 5, I believe, in the Necroplaza series of buildings that I'm constructing. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through with just where I've got at the stage with the substation. Basically, I've done a little bit more to the model. I've primed the model, I've added a few other extra bits and things like that. So what I have actually done now is I've got to a certain stage where I'm actually waiting on things to arrive. Some weathering powders and actually resin, casting resin. I've never done casting resin before, but I have some comment because I believe that the only way that I can achieve some luck through one or two of the buildings is to actually have the ability to actually have casting resin pieces. Some that are just taking a phenomenal amount of time to construct out of styrene, and to be honest, it's going to take me a long time to keep replicating that identical to the first one that I made, because everything has to look uniformed in this. So I'm going to be waiting on that coming. It'll be a bit of an experience. I'm hoping I'm actually going to do a video of me actually using the resin, but there's a very good possibility that that video may never enter YouTube, because, as I say, I've never done casting resin before. So it could be a complete success, it could be an epic fail. Only time will tell with that, but I do know the general purpose of resin casting, so fingers crossed here I'll be able to get that done and have a how-to video with the casting resin. Okay, so what else have I done to the building? Now let me think, I'm having a mental block here. The base is now fitted, and I've come up with a basing system that's going to suit my needs. It might not suit everybody's needs, but the overall effect I've got from the base, I think, actually really suits this series of buildings, because every building in this is actually going to have like an identical base to this, whether it be a little bit more damaged or whether it be looking a little bit more fresh. Again, we'll see that progress as the Necroplaza videos actually progress themselves. Ideas for my next couple of buildings. I have multiple ideas in my head. Getting them out of my head is a challenge. There's a factory building I'm going to be doing, so that will probably be the next one that I construct. So we already have the landing platform, we have the tower unit, we have the what else do we have? We have the substation. I'm probably missing one here, but who knows? I think there's 4 buildings created so far. So where do I go next? Well, the substation is basically my practice piece for all of the pieces. That's why I'm pretty much filming all the work on substation, because every part of the substation is going to be broken down and pieces from that will be put into all the rest of the buildings. So it gives me a really good idea of what I'm going to be doing and the processes and how long they take, on how difficult they are, things that I need to change. So that gives me a really good idea on length of time it's taking to build these buildings, the processes, the fails, then what's actually worked. So overall, the actual bigger buildings should speed up because I actually know what I'm doing with those buildings and exactly how I need to achieve the effect that I'm looking for. So again, weathering powders that's currently on their way. The weathering powders excuse me, frog in my throat this morning. The weathering powders, I've never used these before either. I've always achieved rust effects with my airbrush and different types of paint, like thinning down copper colours and bronzes, mixing them together using things like red oxides, like red oxide paint, things like that, and mixing them together and airbrushing a line and then airbrushing with actual water. And because they're acrylic, because being acrylic paints, they're susceptible to water, so why these are still a little bit wet, by airbrushing a line of water down them, gave me a streaking effect. It looked okay. It's not to the standard now I want to be in, so that's why I'm going for the weathering powders. There is another product I do use for my rust effects, which is a fantastic super product, also fantastic super expensive. So for this amount of terrain, it's a no-go. Putting that onto these models, I may use it in certain places on the models, but it's a no-go for actually using it for these series of models, because the price of the Necroplaza set would be astronomical, and it's for all these buildings are for myself. So I'm going to try the weathering powders. So again, I will be doing a video on that one. That one, whether it be I'll do a tester piece first, and that's what I'll actually be showing here on YouTube. So, shall we go and have a look at where we've got to with the substation? I've taken up enough of your time already thus far, so we'll take a little look at where I'm at, how I got there, and if you do have any comments or suggestions or anything like that, feel free to leave a link, descriptor. Let's try that again. Please feel free to leave a comment. All comments are very welcome. Okay, so we'll go and have a look at where I've got to. Okay, so here we have the substation, which has been mostly primed, and from my last video you can see on how much that I've done that I've started adding these plastic rails around the top, which was from one of the hobby kits. And what I've also done is, if you can get it in the light, as you can see, is all the rivets have gone really well with that black undercoat over the top. I've also stuck some of these wee railings actually on the side to make it look, give it a bit more interesting look about the building. The biggest change that's actually happened is the base. The base itself. I've actually used XPS foam and basically just carved out these squares to give it a look like concrete slabs. That's one thing that's going to be unique over all the entire Necroplaza series of buildings, is I'm going to be using that throughout the whole lot. Okay, so what else has happened? I've come up with the idea of creating these, see if we can get some good lighting on this, these things here. These are actually just flexible straws which have been stuck down. See if we can get a bit of a closer shot in of those. As you can see, they are flexible, but they've got this nice ridge to them. So what I plan on doing is putting cables over the top and mounting them inside, and then filling them with some form of glue. As you can see, I've been testing out different glues on which is best to actually stick these down with, so that's why there's actually little bits of scratches onto the primer due to the glues not working fully, but I now have found a glue that will stick these down really well, and this pretty seems to stay solid.
There's still another coat of primer to go onto this. I've used these open web trusses. If we go around to here, I've used the open web trusses and added a H-beam across the top. So basically that's all that's really happened to it. As I say, the most of everything that's happened into the base, which has all been hand carved, which wasn't exactly difficult at all. So this is just going to be a very quick video. So that's basically where I've got to with the substation. Hopefully next time when I bring you back to this video, it'll have a few more interesting pieces added to it, and maybe a little bit more colour too. Okay, so thanks for watching and happy wargaming.